Well, hello and welcome everybody. Ready to replay second favorite time of the year, and the SSN production team doing a fine job of losing the footage for the bye-week extravaganza. Well, we'll have to settle for the end-of-year extravaganza. The Minnesota Vikings have ended their regular season 13-4. Kings of the North, third straight year in this franchise. They've now got the second seed. And as you may have noticed, we play the Packers in the wild card round. How poetic. Sweeping the entire NFC North. And now the Packers coming in at 10-7 into US Bank Stadium, and one of the worst defenses we've seen out of Minnesota here. But we got a good offense. Either way, that is not why we're here. We are here to take a look at your Minnesota Vikings this season, the 2024-2025 season, in terms of stats and whatnot, and what have yous, and therefore and such. So Patrick Mahomes, QB rating, of 106.5. He was 422 of 604. That is 69% completion percentage. For those of you that did not know how to do math or simply didn't look over here. Just shy of 6,000 yards, 5,977 yards on the year, 54 touchdowns, 36 picks. Now, he did sit out for some time, and you got to believe some of these picks were because of a lingering issue, or that's what we hope, because since coming back from injury, Patrick Mahomes has absolutely dominated the NFC North, beating the Bears and Lions. And then, of course, we see the 4-touchdown, no-pick performance against the Bills. We got our Mahomie back. Kirk Cousins played a little bit this season. He was 121 and 196, 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns, 16 picks. He played, like I said, 4, 5, 6 games in the substitution for Patrick Mahomes while he was away. And there you go. Rushing game, Dalvin Cook, 569 yards for the number one running back in football. He did eclipse the 3,000 yards with 3,174. Ends the season with 23 touchdowns and 3 fumbles. About midway through the season, the Minnesota Vikings have acquired James Cook, yes, the younger brother of Dalvin Cook, and made history as the only team to have brothers getting a touchdown in an NFL game. My heavens. 66 carries in purple. Well, 66 this season. He did play some with, I do believe, the Commanders. 66 carries, 305, 7 touchdowns. Mohamed Ibrahim, 21 for 164, 3 touchdowns this season. Ty Chandler got some work end of season, 16 carries, 84 yards. Odell Beckham, 9 for 62 and a touchdown. Also had a fumble. Patrick Mahomes, 25 carries, 51 yards, and I do believe 3 touchdowns. So Randy's analysis was correct there towards the end. He doesn't carry it much. He doesn't get much yardage. But 3 fumbles as well when running the football. Longest run of 9. JJ off the pesky end around 22 for 41 rushing touchdown. Jackson Smith and Jigba 7 for 19. CJ Ham 5 for 4. Kirk Cousins 3 carries, 3 yards. And the fumble Rooski is Kirk Cousins with 4. Dalvin Cook had 3. Patrick Mahomes had 3. JJ had 2. Tyler Errol had 2. Ibrahim, Odell, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and CJ Ham each had a fumble as well. Justin Jefferson, one of the best seasons he's ever had. 178 catches, 3,229 yards, and 34 gritties against teams playing out of the Twin Cities. My heavens. Jackson Smith and Jigba, second year in the NFL, 126, 1 yard shy of 1,600, and 10 touchdowns. So he's showing some production there. He's staying healthy, playing in every single game this year. Odell Beckham, 10-year vet, proving he still got it. 85 catches, 1,100 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So Minnesota, 3 wide receivers, over 1,000 yards. 3 deep 3.0. You be the judge. TJ Hawkinson, I almost said Tyler there. 44 catches, 567, and 3 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook, 57 catches, 385, and 4 touchdowns. Jelani Woods, 11 catches, 163, and 2 touchdowns. CJ Ham, 26 for 118 and 4. Count them, 4 touchdowns for CJ Ham. My goodness. Mohamed Ibrahim, 4 catches, 45 yards. James Cook, 7 for 39. Tyler Harrell, 2 for 19. And Jalen Naylor, 1 catch on the season, -3 yards. Oh boy. Nobody. Nobody, and we mean nobody, cares about blocking. Gonna go to defense. Look at total tackles, and my heavens, what a tackle fest it has been for Minnesota. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players with over 100 tackles, and 4 of them are defensive backs. That's never a good sign. Either way, Eric Kendricks, NFL Bounce Back Player of the Year, NFL Comeback Player of the Year last season. Building upon that, 195 total tackles for him. My goodness. Lewisine, 177. Javon Holland, 162. Jordan Hicks, 152. Chidobe Awuzie, 136. And Andrew Booth Jr., a guy that has been overshadowed in this franchise, thrusted into a starting role with the departure of Diggs and Johnson. Not a bad season. 12 picks, 100 total tackles. Not bad indeed. Danielle Hunter was 73. Darian Chestnut, the rookie, was 63. Andre Carter, second-year man, was 62. Caleb Evans, 55. Patrick Jones ended the year with 47 total tackles. G.J. Wanham, 38. Harrison Phillips, 33. Jaquelin Roy, 28. Oh, look, Greedy Williams also had 28. MJ Sherman, the rookie, with 20. Siaki Ika with 19. Owen Papa with 18. Brian Asamoah with 11. Dexter and Witherspoon with 6. Very important to note, Akello Witherspoon played only 1 game in purple. There you have it. Cam Bynum with 2 and Xavier Thomas with 1. Tackles for loss, we had a bunch. 36 for Danielle Hunter. Andre Carter with 25. Eric Kendricks with 20. Harrison Phillips with 14. Wanham with 13. Hicks, Roy, and Ika with 12. Holland with 11. Caleb Evans and Patrick Jones with 9. Sheen and Awuzie with 8. Sherman with 5. Booth, Asamoah, Dexter with 2. Williams, Papa, Witherspoon with 1. And 4 sacks. Danielle Hunter returning to greatness as far as sack leaders for this team. 14. Andre Carter with 13. So a late first-round draft pick originally came in or drafted to back up Danielle Hunter. He's bookended Danielle for the second year of his career, and my heavens, has he shown production with 13 sacks. And you got the Basham brothers with Hicks and Kendricks in the middle, but my heavens, you got the bookends with Andre Carter and Danielle Hunter, right end, left end for your Minnesota Vikings. Jaquelin Roy, 7.5 sacks. Siaki Ika with 4. Eric Kendricks and Harrison Phillips will each take 3.5 this season. DJ Wanham had 3. Patrick Jones, 2.5. Caleb Evans and MJ Sherman, 1.5 sacks. And then Javon Holland, Jordan Hicks, Greedy Williams, and Akello Witherspoon with a half sack each. Chidobe Awuzie called upon to fill the shoes that was left by Trayvon Diggs after he didn't want to be here anymore. He left. He got 19 picks. Not bad. Andrew Booth Jr. had an elevated role because of Jalen Johnson leaving, and he subsidized his role with 12 picks. Eric Kendricks, Lewisine each had 3. Javon Holland, Jordan Hicks, and Darian Chestnut each had 2. Hey, I'm contractually obligated to say his name the most ridiculous way possible. I apologize. Patrick Jones, Witherspoon, Papo each had 1 sack as well. Forced fumbles, the Minnesota Vikings' identity on defense, and we have proven that we can make it happen. Javon Holland with 6. Jordan Hicks had 5. Andre Carter had 5. Kendricks and Scene with 4. Chidobe Awuzie with 3. Caleb Evans with 2. Chestnut Jones, Papo, and Williams each had 1 as well. Field goal blocks, we just had 1 this year by Darian Chestnut, the rookie coming out of Syracuse. Minnesota Vikings had 2 safeties, 1 by Javon Holland and Lewis Scene. The safeties scoring the safeties. That's pretty cool. 5 pick sixes or defensive touchdowns for Chidobe Awuzie. 3 for Andrew Booth, 1 for Holland, Hicks, and Kendricks for your Minnesota Vikings this season, in the worst ranked defense in the NFL in terms of yardage. Oh boy. Greg Joseph missed 2 field goals. He was 50 of 52, longest of 61. Wow. And then he missed 2 extra points, 105 for 107. Where he struggled this season, excuse me, was inside the 50-yard range, or outside the 50-yard range, excuse me. So he missed 2 there, and then the 2 extra points. 176 kickoffs, 127 were touchbacks. Not a bad season for Greg Joseph. Ryan Wright, 37 punts, 1,693 punt yards, netting 1,564 of those. No blocks, 10 of them inside the 20, 3 touchbacks, longest punt of 63. Oh my heavens. And in the kick return game, Tyler Harrell, 100 kick returns, 2,260 yards. Longest of 42. I do believe that was just 2 weeks ago. No touchdowns in the return game for the second-year kick returner for the Minnesota Vikings, Tyler Harrell. Ty Chandler had 1 for 6. In Jigba had 1 for 2. And James Cook also had 1 for 2 yards. Punt returns, it was all Tyler Harrell. 19 punt returns for 125. Oh, Mo Ibrahim had 4 for 40 as well. So there you have it. In terms of the stats, that is where the Minnesota Vikings have ranked. Now we look at the offense in terms of yardage. We were the number 2 offense. No surprise, it was the Baltimore Ravens. You had Aaron Rodgers throwing for 10,000 yards just on his little lonesome. My freaking goodness. Total yards amassed by the Minnesota Vikings, 13,277. Total yards gained, total yards amassed by the offense, 10,842. That is split up by 6,986 through the air and 3,856 on the ground. So this season being a pass-first offense. Points per game, we've averaged 54.8. Passing touchdowns, we had 64. At 35 rushing touchdowns, along with 605 first downs. The defense, oh boy, the worst in the league in terms of yardage allowed, 9,891. That is split up by 7,371 passing yards and 2,520 rush yards. Oh boy. We've allowed 756 points per game. That is the worst in the NFL. We have 55 QB sacks. We've recovered 28 fumbles and 51 picks. Good enough for second in the NFL. And our fumble recoveries, of course, good enough for first in the NFL. Conversion rate, Minnesota Vikings second best in the NFL. We are 144 to 253. 7 for 12 on fourth downs. Just had a couple there in the Buffalo game.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. I don't know why it's doubling, but Kazzy. Kazare. Kaz-Cray. Kazare-Cray going cray-cray with the rate of 13. Appreciate it. Just seeing a couple of those go by way in the Buffalo game here. 2-point conversions, we were 3 for 4. That is a 2%, 75% 2-point conversion percentage rate. Of course, good enough is second in the NFL. Red zone efficiency. Minnesota near the bottom of the league here. We had 145 offensive red zone trips, 75 touchdowns, 19 field goals, giving us just a 51% red zone points percentage. Oh my heavens. Red zone defensive trips, 130. We've given up 65 touchdowns and 14 field goals, letting teams score half the time they were in the red zone against this worst-ranked defense in the NFL. So a change is needed because you can't just outgun your opponent offensively every single time. I mean, you have a good shot with Mahomes and JJ and Cook, but my heavens, that can only last so long. Looking at penalties, the Minnesota Vikings were the least penalized team in the NFL this season by way of 253 yards in penalties. The next worst was the 49ers, 24-267, and then the Ravens, 30 with 306. Ironically, the three teams we follow, the least penalized teams in the league. Minnesota second in the take-give differential with 16. 63 takeaways, 52 interceptions, 11 fumbles lost, and then 79 takeaways, 51 defensive interceptions, and 28 fumble recoveries. Best team in the take-give is the Baltimore Ravens at 41. My heavens. 98 takeaways, 75 interceptions, and 20 fumble recoveries. Holy moly. And now we'll look at the week-by-week awards. We'll see how we got here to Wild Card Weekend, and we'll get you out of here. In week number 1, Andre Carter, his second year in the NFL, 4-sack, 2 forced fumble performance, notched him the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Week number 2 is Jordan Hicks, 10 tackles, 2 picks, 1 forced fumble, 1 touchdown scored. Week number 3, the Minnesota Vikings had nobody. Week number 4 was JJ, 10 catch, 304, 3 touchdown performance. Dalvin Cook, 42 carries, 253, 1 touchdown. Week 6, week 7, it was Awuzie, 5 tackles, 3 picks, 1 touchdown performance, NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Week number 8, Dalvin Cook returns to the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Spotlight, 42 carries, 201, 4 touchdowns in week number 8. Week number 9, Andrew Booth Jr. had his breakout game, 9 tackles, 4 picks, 1 pick, 6. Week 10, nobody. Week 11, Chidobe Awuzie, 8 tackles, 3 picks, 1 touchdown. Week number 12, Darian Chestnut had his breakout game as a rookie, 8 tackles, 2 picks, and gets his first NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Andrew Booth Jr., week 13, 14 tackles, 3 picks, 1 touchdown. Week 14 was laid barren, due to the bye week, of course. Week 15, nobody's there. Week 16, Justin Jefferson. This is probably one of the best games he's put up. 17 catches, 353, 3 touchdowns. Week 17, nobody there. And then week 18, nobody there for Minnesota as well. Get you back to the main screen. We'll take a look at the schedule and how we got here. Minnesota Vikings started the preseason off strong with a big win against the Chargers, 62-23. We go to week number 2 at home against the Raiders, 48-38. We escape with a victory there, and then starters go out and we get absolutely clobbered by the Chiefs, 24-87. And we go into the regular season, week 1 against the Dirty Birdies. Well, Seattle Super Chickens, rather. They're 62-38. Minnesota picks up their first win of the season in the season opener. Oh, boy. We come home for 3 against the Aints. We lose 48-59. We bounce back, against the game against the Cardinals, 48-20. And we take care of the Packers, 69-48, in a very nice win. We then travel to the kitty litter box of Detroit Lions. Ford Field, 47-44. We narrowly escape the claws, and we do not restore the God damn it. 3, 2, 1. And we do not restore the roar in week 5. Week 6, we lose to the 49ers in what could be called some weird fashion, 75-51. Week 7 sees us against the Colts, 46-44. We narrowly escape by the skin of our teeth, and we put the horse before the carriage in that one. Week number 8, 57-43 victory over the Titans, 86-31 statement win against the Bears. We take care of the Packers, 50-34. Week number 10, week 11, we're at home, 40-45 loss to the, at the time, 0-9 Jacksonville Jaguars. So we lose to the worst team in the NFL, embarrassing fashion. Week number 12, we're against the Texans, 10-point win, 40-30. Week number 13, we're against the Eagles. We take the L again, 44-50, and we've reached the week 14 bye week. Patrick Mahomes comes back, goes on a tear. He's been out for 5 weeks. Kirk Cousins not playing up to par. And here we go. Versus the Rams, 62-59. We help the 49ers clinch the number 1 seed, not knowing it at the time. Week 16 against the Bears, 69-63, in one of the craziest games of the season. Week 17 last week, of course. 2 weeks ago, rather, 61-36 victory against the Lions. And then the game you just saw last week, 51-37. We bring down the Bills Mafia of upstate New York. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that will just about do it. Randy Replay's end-of-year extravaganza comes to a conclusion. Next time we see you, we'll be squaring off against the Green Bay Packers in the wild card round of the 2024-2025 playoffs. Border battle number 7 for this franchise. Minnesota has swept every team in the NFC North Division this year, on their way to a 13-4 record. As you see bottom right of your screen, the Packers end with a 10-7. The Lions end with a 7-10, and the Bears bottom of the division, 6-11. This has been Randy Replay. I will see you in the next one.